Do it. Yeah, and I'll start recording too. Whoa, we're we're the lives. I'm gonna go check my broadcast. Say hello to the nice
Rats,
people.
rats, we are the rats.
I don't know where that came from. Uh, I
I
still don't
got
know.
thing.
Oh,
Hold on, I'll be right back.
oh, okay. I'm here by myself. We are the rats. Check my broadcast. Say hello. Okay, it's fine. I heard myself. This is a very low production, but it's still my production. I am the Captain Falco, and my co-host Brago will be right back. He's awesome when he's here. I mean, but it'll be fine. Um, so today's subject matter is always presented here by the video, which is by the Goldman, who is said like he going to tell us the problem between what is the problem since Endgame, and I think it'd be good to do a prediction or a question, like what was the downfall. If you were to ask me, I'd say the poor um, not concentrating on good execution of ideas when it comes from the writing, um, consistency of the MCU, making sure everything slides in fine enough. It doesn't have to be exact to be successful enough from a writing perspective, but it does need to be at least coherent from movie to movie, from series to phase, you know? And as time goes on, it gets tougher, but that's the thing about a shared universe. You can't just pick and choose from the cake you have made, which is the MCU. It's a 7 layer cake, and you're trying to take stuff out of it that you want, and you end up with the messy cake, and it destroys the side of the cake. And they keep doing it. Now there's like you can't even recognize it as a cake anymore. It's just this crumbled mess of stuff. It just doesn't look like it should. You Um, I was gonna wait for his answer, but I guess he'll be right back. He
I'm
might be.
back.
Okay, yeah, you're back. All right. I answered the question of what was really the post Endgame problem. I think. Um, what do you think sort of the problems when it comes to post Endgame content? When it comes to the MCU, I mean.
When it comes to the MCU, I'd say the biggest problem they had post Endgame, and most people will say, "Oh, it's the multiverse. They just got to." They
Hmm.
these people got to remember we didn't really have too much of the multiverse at the beginning of Phase 4.
We did have it in Doctor Strange. People forget that, but
Well,
the.
well,
Mhm.
that and the fact that Phase 4 began. Well, I guess you could say Endgame began it, but
Mhm.
we had Far From Home. Far From Home was not a multiverse movie. It tried to act like it was, but that was the twist, is that it wasn't. Uh, then you have WandaVision, that didn't have any multiverse. Then you had Falcon and the Winter Soldier, that was a multiverse. Loki actually had Loki was the first one to actually bring up the multiverse stuff. Well, I know Doctor Strange brought it up, but I mean like very clearly bring it up just to make the rest of the MCU about that.
To make plot points about it, yeah.
Yeah. And I wouldn't say that's the biggest issue of the MCU. I just say that
Hmm.
it goes from many things. It goes from picking the wrong directors or writers to write their stuff, whether it be people who just
Oh,
don't have that big of a film biography,
oh,
or
hmm, absolutely. I always forget. Sorry to interrupt, but like I always forget that they picked people who just had like one award and just worked on a couple of series that have nothing to do with each other, and they'll just pick people off the street almost when it comes to their writers, because the writers are
well,
the least important thing when it came to the MCU.
it's clear they just pick and choose.
Hmm.
They just pick and choose whoever seems popular enough or famous among the
Hmm.
the what's the word?
Cavalcade.
The
Oh
fancy
yeah.
artsy type of film directors and stuff like that. It's like we're gonna get this artsy director to do Eternals, and then
We
there
have
was
a
that
big name writer. Yeah.
then there was that trailer they had for Thunderbolts where it was like, look, we got this person
A24.
from
Yeah. Sorry. Sorry.
look, we got all these people. No, it's okay. We got all these people from Beef. We got all these people from
Grade A beef. Yeah.
everything everywhere all at once is like, and it
Hmm.
kept just naming stuff of like, do you remember this movie? Do you remember this movie? Average audiences are gonna go like, the fuck is that movie? No, I don't want to bog down those movies at all because Everything Everywhere All at Once is a really great movie,
Yeah, it's great.
and there was some other stuff that were on there that was nice, but that's clearly what they want to do. They want to appeal to the bigger film people who are like, oh yeah, that really artsy movie or that
Art
really
sniffers. Yeah, yeah.
compel or that really compelling movie. I'm gonna go see that. Uh, hold on, I'll be right back.
All right. Um. So when he's doing all that stuff, I'm going to just say that there's also the rush production of their CGI artists, which make it look absolutely horrendous. Like, of course, Love and Thunder's famous head of people, and then you have like, even the recent stuff, like in Quantumania, or what's the like in I believe in Thunderbolts also had some interesting CGI choices. Um, like they're not doing any favors by like having these rush productions and people leaving in droves looking for other jobs because they're like the old animators in the 1920s. Like they just didn't give them any rest, no overtime, and it's like I thought we got rid of these sort of like pre-union days of
I'm back. Sorry.
these rush productions of human slavery at Marvel. Like, sorry, I was talking about the rush productions of their
Yeah,
effects people. Like
yeah,
it's
yeah.
terrible.
Like I said, it's a combination of a lot of things. It'd be
Mm-hmm.
picking and choosing different directors, writers, and artists just to make the bigger film crowd appeal to that. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
because one more thing I want to say about that. Again, not saying these movies are bad. It's just that there are plenty of people. Uh, that are going like, Marvel's not doing so hot anymore, and so they bring out
Mm.
that trailer with all these names, and that will make these people go, "Oh, Marvel's gonna be good again because it has these names attached." Even though you could apply that same logic to the Disney remakes, it's like, "Oh,
Yeah.
look, Chris Sanders is coming back for How to Train Your Dragon and Lilo and Stitch. Oh, look, fuck, what's his name?
Some guy. I don't
That
know.
Robert Zemeckis is going to direct Pinocchio. Is
Yeah,
they do the
Pinocchio
same shit there?
trade.
Oh, I gave up on Pinocchio. I was watching it with my friend Dax, and we just gave up on it. After they made the Chris Pine joke. Uh, but
Oh, when he's I've always seen that scene, the really infamous scene of Pinocchio looking at a piece of crap on the ground, and I'm like,
yeah,
ew, why? It's
I don't know what's with certain really bad animated movies that just feel
odd
we need to have
choices.
we need to have a scene of a character literally looking at a piece of shit. Like and it always has to involve with them doing something with the shit. Like, oh, open season Scared Silly has a character literally eating a piece of shit. Then you got Pinocchio who smells a piece of shit, and then you got
Eight
fucking
Crazy Nights,
SpongeBob.
yeah.
That that oh, I was gonna mention
Oh,
SpongeBob. I
oh,
was gonna mention SpongeBob Sandy Cheeks, movie where SpongeBob smells a piece of shit. Uh, it just always happens. But we're getting off topic. But
yeah, yeah, yeah. what
Yeah, rush productions, pick and choosing directors and stuff like that.
and
Terrible writing, not
hmm
enough time for the CG artists.
oh, and showing another thing. I remember this from the Multiverse of Madness. He would show up on set and not have on production of the sets that he was writing for, and he wasn't done writing it. There was no finished
Yeah.
script. It's like, and not only that, changing directors, COVID is a little bit of an excuse, but not for box office numbers. But it is like, oh no, we can't put these things out in the, in the way we wanted to, so we have to delay all these other projects and redo it. And then when that happens, like they start losing money, and then they lie to their investors. It's like, of course they're gonna lie, like. So, anyways, I think that's pretty much it for when it comes to like what we think about that. Let's see what his excuse is going to be. So I'm going to transfer to the
Wait,
yeah.
I always hate looking at these videos because every time you look at one, it's like, why did Marvel fall off? And it's like, I know the reason you're gonna say is not the reason that it actually is.
It's it really comes down to poor writing.
I will actually be
Hmm.
surprised if he manages to get it right on the head.
Yeah, yeah, sure. In fact, hold on. Let me get back to my OBS real quick. There we go. Yeah, there it is. All right, cool. This is the Gold Man, and he has 18 minutes. So it's like, let's just say he didn't have quite the. I have watched this stuff before, and it wasn't too good. But I've heard his breakdown stuff of why it failed is better. So let's just see. Ah, wow, that's loud. Sorry.
He has the
Fun.
he has the weird alien from Rise of Skywalker in his O.
Uh, I'm fine with it. Whatever it is.
Captain America Brave New World is not gonna save Marvel. The movie could be great or terrible. Either way, the MCU is still in a lot of trouble.
No, it's dead. Um,
It's
superhero
not coming
fatigue is
back.
here. It's here. Okay? It's not just bad movie fatigue anymore. It's now superhero fatigue. Like, people are just sick of it. Like, it's I think it's reflected in Superman's box office. Even if it is successful, it won't be successful enough to launch the superhero like into the next era. Like, I don't think so anyway. Like, that's my 2 cents on it.
In this video, we're gonna go over the 5 main reasons why the MCU has been struggling. We'll compare the current MCU to its once consistent greatness, and then after that, we're gonna come up with a plan.
It's kind of funny because I think I used to like Endgame a lot, and then
Same here.
and then I've soured on it because of because I have my mind changed. You know, the basic. Now it's like I like to watch it. I think it's fun, but it ain't good. So
On how it can all be fixed before it's too late. So, let's begin with point 1. Also, quick thank you to today's sponsor,
Yay,
Squarespace. but
Squarespace!
No!
It's really easy to look at the MCU post Endgame and say the reason it's struggling is because of bad storytelling. Lots of
It is.
Yeah,
It is.
yeah. I well, it's not just. I think what people need to change their criticisms to. It's not just bad writing, because that's the thing. But how do you explain the bad writing? Why it's bad writing? That's the place where you have to expand your mind, or in order to explain that. Because like, when, for example, She-Hulk, she's meant to be the hero in this journey. She is pictured to be like the person who's right, but it doesn't matter what the writers wanted. It's how it comes off. The writing is bad because it's against its own heroine. It's like it's juxtaposed because the morals of the writers is overpowering the character that you wanted to make. You have to explain it, you see. That's my point.
Marvel movies and shows recently have had terrible storytelling, don't get me wrong, but let's not glorify every movie from the Infinity Saga. The Incredible Hulk, Iron Man 2, Thor the Dark World,
Incredible
and
Hulk is
Captain
good. I
Marvel.
will fucking stand by that. Incredible Hulk is a good film.
It's a decent film. Iron Man 2, still better. Thor the Dark World, no one cares. Captain Marvel is bad.
I'm
There
gonna be
you
honest
go.
with you, Falco. I still have not seen Thor: The Dark World.
It's blah. It's tofu of movies. But I guarantee you it's better than Phase 4 stuff. It won't make you angry enough.
I'm sorry. Has anybody who has gone through all these MCU movies and actually rewatched Incredible Hulk? Have they ever done that? Because if you rewatch it, you'll understand it is a better story than a lot of the fucking Phase 4 shit.
Oh,
Actually, no, all
absolutely.
the it's better than all the Phase 4 shit.
It's kind of funny how like all these are better than Phase 4 except for Captain Marvel. I don't know. That's tough.
Actually, yeah, he hasn't picked any of the relevant new movies except for
hmm He's
Captain
saying,
Marvel.
I think what he's saying is like, let's not be afraid. It used to be bad in the past. It's like I don't care if it's bad in the past. We're talking about Phase 4 and 5.
All exist. The MCU also had a lot of mid movies too. Is anyone gonna sit here and say Doctor Strange was a good movie?
Wow.
I quite enjoy Doctor Strange.
I
It's been a
enjoy
while since
it.
I've rewatched.
Good
It's been a while
movie.
since I've.
Hmm.
It's been a while since I've rewatched it. But I'm not gonna make a confirmed opinion until I
Yeah,
rewatch it.
true. I'm not going to glorify it though, but it's like, man, it's kind of interesting coming from the other side here. All right, that's interesting. All right.
No. In the Multiverse Saga, there have also been great stories. Shang-Chi, Spider-Man No
Nope,
Way
no, you started with Shang-Chi. You can't.
You start with Shang-Chi. You have failed.
And then Spider-Man No Way Home, I'm like, well, you're half right. Because the
Well,
Doctor Strange stuff is stupid.
if we're talking about most of the character stuff, it's good.
Yes.
If we're talking about the story stuff, including Doctor Strange, oof.
Yeah, that's what I mean. It's a mixed bag, but I do enjoy that movie. The later half is really good. I really love the third act. The third act is some of my favorite stuff I've seen in movies because it's so much character work.
Home, Black Panther 2,
Oof.
Wow.
Oof.
Guardians 3, Loki. These are great.
Loki! Woo! We did it, boys.
So
Big fire, bro.
shit. Fucking god awful. Pretty bad. Off. Just the worst of the worst.
Yeah, we don't have a high opinion of these, I guess. But No Way Home, I would take that out. I would take that out.
I'm tired of people pretending that fucking Wakanda Forever is like one of the best films to come out of the fucking MCU. I'm tired of that. It's not a good movie. I watched it. I watched it in fucking theaters. I paid for the goddamn ticket and I sat through that shit.
I think the only reason they liked it is because Chadwick Boseman's death.
Yeah, Chadwick Boseman's the movie kind of manipulates you on that because as much as Marvel goes like, yeah, we all feel sorry for Chadwick Boseman. They really they really made the movie the way it was just so that they could manipulate you into liking their movie.
Yeah.
Stories. So the issues from the Multiverse Saga stem from an issue.
Let's see what he has. There's a BB-8, there's a Ray, there's a football helmet, a Master Chief helmet, there's a gold thing. Empire Strikes Back. I think I have that poster.
Excuse me?
The Empire Strikes Back poster. It's in his background, see?
Yep.
Way up there.
He's also got all the Harry Potter books. He's got a lot of Star Wars books.
What's the ones down there? Are those is that the Harry Potter ones on the bottom?
I recognize the colors of like the green, blue, and orangish red. Yeah, that's the
Okay.
That's the Harry Potter
Okay,
books.
that's fine. All right. And also Nike. Interesting.
Far greater than storytelling. What did the Infinity Saga have that the Multiverse Saga doesn't have? When we look back at
you show off Avengers. Perfect example. You see all these people are characters that you want to follow, and have their continuity intact. That's what. And it was told by a person who knows how to write stories. I don't care what you think about Joss Whedon. He wrote one of the best superhero group movies ever made.
The first 3 phases of the MCU, of course, we know who the main players were. Iron Man, Captain America, and Thor were the main characters. And then there were the supporting characters like Black Widow, the Hulk, and Hawkeye.
Hulk was a main character,
Yeah.
I think. But it may seem that way, but in the beginning, Hulk was a main character. But anyways, yeah.
Yeah, these characters were great, some more than others, but what made these characters great were not 1 or 2 movies. It was the arcs that persisted over the course of 5, 6, or 7 movies.
Yeah.
What made the MCU great was not individual movies. Some were great.
Were not individual movies. Yes, it was. I kind of disagree.
Look, you had the Avengers, which built up Hawkeye and Black Widow's character, obviously, but
mhm.
there was still the Hulk movie, which set up Hulk's character and then was later continued in Avengers. Then you had Captain America's story, uh, which was mainly just an origin story for
Mhm.
Steve Rogers becoming the man that
Well, they're
everyone
all
knows
origin
and loves.
stories. Yeah. I mean, be fair.
Not really for Incredible Hulk because he's already Hulk.
Yeah, but I don't count Ang Lee's Hulk. So.
I'm not talking about Ang Lee's Hulk.
Okay. It is an origin story. It's just that it's not an origin story about how he was made. I don't know. I know that doesn't make any sense.
No, I get you.
Mhm.
And then there's Iron Man.
Iron Man was definitely an origin. Iron Man 2 was also before Avengers.
These individual movies show us who they are and
Mhm.
what they're gonna be like.
Well, the individual movies have to be good in order for, and then the group movie has to be good. Like, one can exist without the other. They coexist. This is why it's called a continuity.
But let's be real, most of them weren't. What made the Infinity Saga so
Wow, I can't believe you admitted it. Marvel and most movies are bad. I'm like, yeah, I agree, actually. But even in the bad ones, you can still have good character stuff. It's just that it's a lot more less noticeable nowadays.
It's a lot
Great
more
was the-
contained in its badness.
Well, when you have less things to draw upon, you can't really mess it up as much. But now it's like, the more it goes on, the more you start to mess it up. Like I said earlier, it's like a cake. You can't just take ingredients out of the cake and it be complete cake anymore.
fact that serialized storytelling was brought to the big screen. When you watch a TV show, do you expect every storyline and character arc to be resolved in the first episode? No. You tune in because you know over the course of a season or multiple seasons, you will see these long stories play out in a hopefully satisfying way. The MCU brought that to the big screen. When you watched Captain America: The Winter Soldier for the
Yeah, but that may be true, but like, you still have to complete some kind of story. Even in TV shows, like in that episode, like I can use any TV show. It's like each episode completes something. It has something to say. Just because like on the whole their arc is not complete, they can begin to go on their arc, or learn something new about their arc. Like and that's has to be good as well. So yeah.
first time, you didn't expect that movie to be the end of Steve Rogers' story. You knew this was a chapter in a much wider story.
Well, what if it did end?
Yeah.
By the way, it did end in it ended in Endgame because he made it end. He gave up on Bucky to stay with Peggy. I'm sorry, but Sam Wilson is not Captain America. Yeah, that's right. I'm doing it.
How dare you?
a story that played out over the course of 7 movies. When you look at just the first 6 movies of the MCU, aka Phase 1, excluding post-credit scenes, Tony Stark was in 3 movies, and the rest of the 5 main Avengers were in 2 movies each. And if we expand this to the first 2 phases of the MCU, aka the first 12 movies, Tony Stark was in 5 movies, Steve Rogers, Thor, and Natasha were in 4 movies each, and Bruce Banner and Clint Barton were in 3 movies each.
Is that why he calls them side characters? Because they were in less movies? I don't know.
Over the course of these movies, these characters grew and changed. You were invested in these stories. By the time Tony Stark died in Endgame, he had an active role in 9 movies. Serialized storytelling is what made the MCU great. Now, let's compare the first 2 phases of the Infinity Saga to the first 2 phases of the Multiverse Saga. Phases 1 and 2 had 12 movies combined. Phases 4 and 5 have 13 movies and 12 shows combined.
Well, that's quite complex, isn't it? Hello?
I'm here.
Oh, okay, sorry. I heard something. So, I don't. I kind of wonder what his point is. Actually, I'll let him make his point.
This doesn't include the animated shows or the short films. Of these 25 projects, only 1 character will have played a prominent role in 3 of them or more, and that's Yelena. She was in Black Widow.
This was fun!
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Oh my gosh, Black Widow, such a awful film. No one remembers that film. I guarantee it.
Hawkeye, and will be in Thunderbolts. Tony Stark was in 9 of the first 22 movies. Yelena, the most prominent character in the Multiverse Saga, will be in 3 of the first 23 projects of this saga. There's no serialized storytelling here. No characters to get invested in the long term. Now, there are...
That is true. Like, I'll give it to him. It's like, well, that's because, like, they don't know where they're going. They have no plan. Because their plan has been switched up so many times. They had to go back to shootings and stuff and learn. And a lot of people have left. Like, another thing that screwed him over was the, who played Kang?
Oh, I forgot his name.
Yeah, I forgot his name, but, you know, he went to court for sexual allegation stuff. I can't remember the exact thing, but like...
Jonathan Majors.
Jonathan Majors, yeah. He didn't go to jail. He was found not guilty, but here's the thing. Association with that kind of stuff will give you bad press, so they're like, we can't wait. We're going to cancel the Multiverse Saga for Doomsday. It's like, all right. And Phase 5 was born.
Some examples of stories connecting. Black Widow tied into the Hawkeye show, WandaVision tied into Doctor Strange, Miss Marvel tied into The Marvels, and Black Panther 2 is going to tie into the Ironheart show.
Oh yeah, the Ironheart show. Everybody loves that.
Sadly.
It's the Marvels, the Acolyte. Like, I think Ironheart's worse than the Acolyte is.
This is the richest example of serialized storytelling we've gotten so far. In the first 3 phases, even movies that didn't particularly develop a character still served a purpose in the wider MCU. Thor: The Dark World was a bad movie, but at least it introduced one of the Infinity Stones. Every movie had a place in the MCU.
Well, it also had the death of Thor's mother, which affected Loki.
Yeah.
That's another thing it did. Also, there's a naked guy who appeared in Andor, so that was fun.
That seems to be the journey he's forgetting about is Loki's journey.
Because people forget that Loki looking at a screen is not gonna convince them no matter how good it is. Like, I'm sorry, that was stupid. He cries at the end, therefore it affected him. It's like, man, you guys are so basic.
Shang-Chi came out 4 years ago. Will he ever be brought back?
No one cares. That's why. No one cares. Because
is he even being brought back? Hold on, I need to look that up.
Probably in Doomsday. But like, the thing is though, everybody forgets about these things when they come out because it's just made for content. It's just like, yeah, just push it out, make money with it. It's not about telling a story or being an artist. It's about, can we just put this out? And also, we're going to play the race card whenever it gets criticized. Because that's what you do, Hollywood and Disney.
Yeah. He's coming back.
Of course he's coming back. But
Unfortunately.
still, people are like, oh yeah, that movie existed.
Will the mystery of the Ten Rings ever be relevant again? What about Moon Knight? Is there anything important here? Will he show up again? There's just a lot of stories here that don't serve any wider purpose other than telling its own story.
That's not the problem. That's not the problem. Telling your own story is not a bad thing.
Do these people always do this to me?
No, you don't always have to connect it to anything. Sometimes it's good to have an isolated story. The problem is that they suck. But if you want to, stories don't have to. In fact, that's one of their big problems now. Everything's connected to everything, and people feel overwhelmed. You have to do homework for everything. Like that's another aspect that people don't like about it. And they're just like, yeah, just go see it. And when they see it, they're like, I'm so lost. And they tell other people not to see it. So, like, you can't win.
So reason number one why the MCU is struggling? No serialized storytelling. Now, as we've discussed, there are a few examples of serialized storytelling. Clearly, Kang was supposed to be a big part of the MCU, but Jonathan Majors got into trouble, so they scrapped the entirety of that. But even if we ignore that and look at everything else, almost every attempt at serialized storytelling has not been followed through on in any way.
Well, another thing that I agree with is what Fringy said is like, from EFAP, and is that they keep having their villains stay alive, and so they can make more stories. Never let something go what's the word I'm looking for? Oh crap. Unfulfilled. It's like, I'll get you next time, Gadget. Team Rocket's blasting off again. And then it's like, well, will they ever be important again? Not really. They might as well be dead, or just be forgotten about. So it's like, just have them kill them. Have some consequences for your stories. Like, you can serialize it that way too. It's just like, well, that bad guy's dead. We're gonna just move on. Not everyone needs to survive.
You know what the Infinity Saga was really good at? Keeping promises. The post-credit scenes became a staple of the MCU. Almost everyone knew that when the
Since the beginning of the MCU's inception.
credits started to roll, you had to stick around for the post-credit scenes. Sometimes it was just one scene, sometimes it was two. Sometimes these scenes were teases for what's to come, and sometimes they were just fun, goofy scenes. In the 23 Infinity Saga movies, I counted 12 post-credit scenes that were teasing something, so this doesn't include.
I gotta love it when he says 21 asterisk when like he could have. Okay, that's fine.
The fun scenes. Of those 21 post-credit scenes, 20 of them actually paid off in some way. These teases came in a variety of different shapes and sizes. Sometimes it was literally just showing scenes from the next movie or simply teasing it. Sometimes it was showing characters that would appear in future movies. Sometimes they just wanted to tease plot lines that would be relevant in the future. Iron Man 2 ended with showing Thor's hammer. The next movie was Thor. The Avengers and Age of Ultron just showed Thanos. Thanos was the big bad of this entire saga. Infinity War, Ant-Man and the Wasp.
Okay. Yeah, I want. Don't tell me he's gonna say we need post-credit scenes that are gonna go into the next movie. We need it to stay relevant. All right, it's almost like the same thing twice. I'm just gonna let it go because it's kind of like you're saying it's like we need continuity, and so what you're saying again, like I want continuity because it's post-credit scenes.
and Captain Marvel all had post-credit scenes that were paid off in Endgame. The only post-credit scene that didn't amount to anything was one of the scenes in Spider-Man Homecoming. This went nowhere, but every other post-credit scene, promises were made and they were kept. Let's take a look at...
There's a lot of stuff that were like, what about the end of Doctor Strange when Modo was going to take away all the magic and stuff? That never came back. So, you know, it's not the only thing.
just Phase 4. Phase 5 isn't even done yet, so we'll hold off from making judgments there. There were...
It's going to suck, guys. Phase 5 is going to suck because the Phase 4 and even Phase... Dude, they've been incredibly consistent on how crap these movies are in shows. And it shows how much they don't care. Sorry.
14 projects in Phase 4. Let's count again how many post-credit scenes paid off in any way. Again, I'm only going to focus on the teases, not the fun scenes. Black Widow. It showed Yelena wanting to get revenge. This paid off in the Hawkeye show. 1 out of 1, good start. Shang-Chi set up some questions about how the 10 rings were made. This came out 4 years ago with no follow-up. 1 out of 2. Zhao Ling took over the 10 rings 4 years later and no follow-up. 1 out of 3.
Does anyone really care about the 10 rings? Is it going to be relevant? I don't know.
The Eternals met Harry Styles. It appears the Eternals will never show up again, so this didn't pay off. 1 out of 4. I think this scene with Jon Snow is supposed to set up the Blade movie, but no follow-up yet.
Well, that's because, well, the production of Blade got dissed because of things that are happening behind the scenes. So it's like, yeah, that's another thing that it's just Disney's, Hollywood in general, in Disney are just really terrible at making decisions. And WB is worse than those people. That's why the DC universe will never happen. The DCEU will never happen.
1 out of 5. Doctor Strange met Charlize Theron, a character who has yet to show up again. 1 out of 6. Thor Love and Thunder teased Hercules, a character that has not showed up again. 1 out of 7. WandaVision teased the events of Multiverse of Madness. This counts. 2 out of 8. Falcon and the Winter Soldier had a scene with Sharon Carter. This hasn't paid off. 2 out of 9. Loki set up Season 2, and Season 2 happened, so we'll count it. 3 out of 10. Moon Knight has gone nowhere. 3 out of 11. Miss Marvel tied directly into the Marvels. This counts. 4 out of 12. She-Hulk teased the return of the Abomination, which hasn't paid off. 4 out of 13.
Ugh, She-Hulk. One of the worst things that ever happened to TV.
So Phase 4 had less than a third of its teases paying off. Why should fans of Marvel be excited for the future when none of these promises are being kept? And
Well, maybe you should be a normal person and not be a fanatic and just wait and see mentality. Like, because they've been really inconsistent with their stuff.
Phase 5 has only continued this trend so far. Reason number 2, the MCU is struggling. Promises are not being kept.
No storytelling kind of ties into that. Promises aren't being kept. It kind of bleeds into the next one. So it's like, all right, next.
Now, let's say hypothetically promises were being kept. Most of, if not all of these post-credit scenes were being followed through on. There's still a big issue. A handful of these projects, especially the movies, are narrative dead ends. The first movie in Phase 4 was Black Widow. Black Widow died a few movies beforehand, so they devoted
That has, okay, you better be careful because your thing is from before. It's like it's too individual. It's like, yeah, but that's not a problem. It's okay to make a movie post death about somebody's life. Like, please don't limit art. Please.
their first movie to a character that had already been dead. There's not much more you can do with her.
That's not true. Stop limiting options. Oh gosh, people are so restricted. It's like, well, you just said that, like, Steve being at the end of his rope. It's like, it's fine to stop someone, but it's like, it's kind of funny. There's lots of characters that die, but still have a way to continue their story. There are so many where it's like, where characters die and then you see how they died. That has nothing, or their life. Like, there are movies and shows that do this. I hate this mentality that that like, nah, their story's done for because their arc is at an end, or because because they already died, so we don't need to see like their life and how they, started or anything. We don't need to see that now that they're dead. The interest is gone. It's like, not if you make it good.
What I miss?
Not much. He said that like
Okay.
that Black Widow being dead, which means her story was done.
Okay.
So
You could argue that this was all just set up for Yelena. Okay, they haven't done much with her since. We'll see how Thunderbolts goes, I suppose. Eternals is a movie that is not getting a sequel. It made headlines for
oh yeah, Eternals will return. It never did.
It never returned.
And it never will be.
being the first MCU movie with a negative rating. The writers couldn't continue this story even if they wanted to. So this is a dead end. The most profitable MCU movie since Endgame was Spider-Man No Way Home. That
Oh yeah, and guess who got that money? Well, most of that money. Sony.
movie killed it at the box office, but the movie itself was a reset for the character of Peter Parker. When the movie ends, no one knows who he is anymore. Spider-Man 4 is happening, but it seems like Sony is going to keep Spider-Man for themselves again.
Yeah. Why do you think that is? Because it made them a lot of money.
I mean, that's not even going to be completely true because they're bringing in Hulk and fucking Punisher. So
Who knows? They could be borrowing it. Maybe they have their own versions. Maybe they bought them back. I don't know.
So there's no storyline for Marvel to continue here either.
Oh. Well,
that's not true.
What if
really.
they made their own Spider-Man from another universe? Boom. I did it.
The movie was great, but it's a dead end. Black Panther 2 was a bit of a peculiar one. I'm not sure if Shuri is supposed to be the future of Black Panther or not, so it's not technically a dead end, but
oh my gosh, that looked horrible.
Yeah, it's not good looking.
Look at that bouncing he does.
Dead end, but other writers can continue the story until they're told what they can do. Ant-Man 3 was supposed to be
yeah, exactly. You hit the nail on the head, but you're still not saying bad storytelling. It's like, no, it's bad writing. It's bad practices. These people don't care about what they're doing to their characters. They only look how fake that looks. It looks like they're standing on a wallpaper, on a desktop wallpaper.
Yeah.
It looks terrible. I'm not talking about the picture itself looks fine. It's just that it looks like these two people are standing in front of a concept art. Like, oh gosh.
Be a big movie for Marvel. Quantumania was going to be the first Ant-Man movie with real stakes. It was
with real stakes.
What do you mean?
With real stakes. I love it when they say real things. It's like, nah, the past things weren't real. It was fake steaks before. Those T-bone steaks were just vegan. Okay. I'm sorry, but like, when you mean real stakes, you mean the destroyed universe with Kang? I'm sorry, but like, just because stakes are higher doesn't mean diddly squat. Okay? Personal stakes are, I think, are more interesting when it comes to a humanistic element. Because like 12 Angry Men is about the life of one person. And that's much more interesting than Quantumania. Like, I'm not saying that's always the case. I love world stakes, end of the world type stuff, but it's gotta be written well. You gotta like anything else. And that's usually with like, because there's personal stakes in it for them too, I think that's the reason why the Suicide Squad works so well, is because like they want to save the island, but they're a bunch of criminals. It makes it more it makes it more personal because they're still human.
was going to tie into Kang the Conqueror, the main
Wow.
villain of this era of the MCU. How did this turn out? The movie bombed. It made even less money than the previous 2 Ant-Man movies. Kang is also gone, as we mentioned earlier, so the future of Scott Lang is bleak, and what was set up here is not going to be continued.
Well, no.
There's
Spot
also
can
the
build
fact
Stu stuff. What do you
there's
mean?
there's also you also gotta bring in the fact that 2 of the major actors in the Ant-Man movies have retired. So
Yeah. Um. Well, you could just CGI him. It'd be fine. Yeah.
oh, Jesus, Falco.
Okay. Uh.
This movie turned out to be a dead end. The biggest example of these dead end movies is Guardians 3. The movie was fantastic, and it was a big win for Marvel, but the movie was a
When he says fantastic, it's just the emotional scene, huh? All right. I get you.
resolution to all the characters of the Guardians of the Galaxy. This movie was James Gunn's big farewell before he went to DC. This movie, while great, can't lead to anything. Peter Quill might come back, but I don't see any of the other Guardians ever returning. So this movie from the start was a dead end. This is why the future of the MCU is so bleak right now, even though there have been a handful of great stories. Not all movies are created equal. Ant-Man and the
Wow. Hey, Frago.
Yeah.
Did you know that not all movies are made the same way and have the same quality?
Wow, who would have thunk?
Wasp: Quantumania was way more important to the future of Marvel than Guardians 3 was. It reminds me of the current state
Well-
of Star Wars. People know Andor is excellent, but they are still bleak about the future of the franchise.
Why do you think that is? It has nothing to do with these like arbitrary lists. Like it's kind of funny that people say like, yeah, we know it's written badly. We know the storytelling is bad. We know the character stuff is bad, but you know what? That can't be the answer. It's too simple. It's like, no, it's not simple. You have to explain it.
Andor is a dead end though. Once season 2 comes out, that's it. Andor's over. Ahsoka and the
Well, that's because Andor season 1 didn't do that well when it came to the Nelson ratings. People have lost interest in Star Wars. Star Wars is a dead franchise.
Mandalorian are the open-ended shows, and the recent seasons there disappointed heavily. The Marvels is a movie that's setting up the rest of the MCU, and the movie was the biggest blockbuster failure in the history of the MCU. So what is there to get excited about in the future, other than knowing that Robert Downey Jr. is coming back? A move that reeks of desperation. The only thing people
True.
Yeah.
It's like everybody knows this. And then they had that 24-hour stream with the chairs that people are going to be in it.
Falco?
Yeah.
Could you check your DMs real quick?
Okay. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba-ba. Oh, okay. Yeah, sure. So apparently something
Yeah.
something's came up, and we do have to cut it short. Or
Yeah, I apologize.
Sure, that's fine.
Yeah.
Well, I could just do it myself, I guess. That's fine. I can do it.
Okay. All right, that's fine.
Bye bye.
I will see you guys for next week's background noise. You have a good stream, Falco.
Yeah, thank you.
See ya.
See you.
Oh, and one more thing. Vic might join.
Oh,
Just letting
okay.
you-
I'll try to keep that in mind as I will keep an eye on that.
Okay. See ya.
See ya. Yay, by myself again.
are excited about in the future have nothing to do with the current storylines. People are excited about Fantastic Four because it's the first Fantastic Four movie in a decade. People are looking forward to the Blade movie because they like the original Blade movies.
Well, people like those things because it's not just nostalgia. Okay? It's because those things were made with a passion and a love for and a love for the material. Like they really like those things because of that aspect.
There's nothing set up from the current MCU storyline that people are excited for, except for maybe the Thunderbolts, because that looks kind of fun. The peak of the MCU back.
Of course you do. This comes as like a shill thing, because like it can't be bad because it leads to the next thing. It's like that's the shill response. That is a consume response. Don't be this. Don't be consumer. All right.
Back in the day had no dead ends. Every movie mattered. People were thrilled to see the next movie. Captain Marvel, a movie that was
You've already kind of made this point twice. You just don't know it.
ass, reached $1 billion at the box office just cause it was gonna tie into Endgame. Reason number 3 the MCU is struggling, too many dead ends.
Well, I'd say it's the opposite, because nobody's gets killed. Nothing has a finality to it because they don't want any dead ends, which makes it look like there's dead ends. Those keep going.
I've spoken about the movies a lot more than the Disney Plus shows so far, and rightfully so, the movies are way more important. If you watched my video last month where I discussed the Star Wars shows on Disney Plus, you would know I think the platform is pathetic. The way they create shows on
Well, yeah, it is pathetic because in order to get their numbers up, they have to say like, well, if you get Disney Plus, you get Hulu and the ESPN and all this stuff. It's like, yeah, so they can make believe that they have more people than they do.
this platform are an embarrassment to television, and Marvel's even worse at this. The reason I hate these shows so much, even when they're actually decent, is because these shows could have just been movies instead. I have yet to see
Well, that's not so much of a problem. Netflix did the same thing, and those shows were beloved. So the problem is their quality, and not and less of them. There needs to be less shows. I agree with that point, because if they had less shows, it would be less confusing for people, and they need to be some of them need to be isolated, not connecting to the MCU whatsoever, but still a part of the MCU. You know what I mean?
one of these 6-episode shows that have really wowed me. And it's because these aren't shows, they're long movies split into 6 parts. People just don't enjoy that as much. WandaVision
Yeah, sort of. Oh no, are you kidding? When these shows came out, there was glowing reviews for them everywhere. But then, after a while, they stay quiet. They don't watch them again. Then it's like, huh, what happened? Well, is that because the hype died down and there's no reason to watch them again until there's the next one.
actually felt like a TV show, and technically so did She-Hulk, except She-Hulk was not good at all. These shows have done
Yay, integrity.
so much damage to the Marvel brand. For one, none of them have been great, and almost all of them have poor rewatchability. You don't hear people saying they want to rewatch Falcon and the Winter Soldier.
Yes. Yes, exactly. Of course not. Because they get reminded how much... Well, the one thing you want to watch Falcon and Winter Soldier for is how much of a Chad John Walker is. And how he's much better Captain America than Sam Wilson. Yay!
Even with the new Captain America movie coming out. When Phase 5 completes, they will have done 12 live-action shows on Disney+, and only one of them got a second season. That's embarrassing. It feels like many...
Well, not all shows need a second season. You can be one season and done. Like, that's not the problem. The problem is quality, not quantity. There are too many...
These shows exist just to exist. Disney has this streaming service and they have to put content on it. They've completely lost what made the MCU so great. I loved how people pointed...
Because they need to be movies? Is that where you're going with this? I hope not. I really hope not. Because that's, again, that's not the problem. Like, they had Daredevil, Jessica Jones, and, Power Man. Power Man. and the Iron Knuckle. Thank God. I can't remember these shows. But, you know what I mean. It's like, those shows have different qualities to them. But still, they were a lot better than we have nowadays.
out the inconsistency of Nick Fury's character. He was really dark and serious in Secret Invasion, and then if
No, he wasn't. No, he was a sad clown man. He was like, my life sucks. It's like, oh, man. And all he does is get set on the bench after he gets a powerful speech. And I'm like, why? Why'd you turn him into... It's like, and you made him like all of the accomplishments due to the scrolls. It's like, wow, you took away everything from him. Congratulations, you did it to almost every male character. Wow.
few months later in The Marvels, he's basically a comic relief character. These shows don't feel like they matter. The direction of the Disney Plus shows should have been exactly like the Defenders shows. Have there be 4 or 5 superheroes, give them their own shows, eventually they have a team-up show, and once that's all done, they all show up in the Avengers. This way, the shows stay relatively self-contained to Disney Plus. But instead, half these shows have just become pre-required viewing. You need to watch WandaVision in order to understand Multiverse of Madness. You need to watch Falcon and the Winter Soldier if you want to understand both Brave New World and Thunderbolts. If you want to understand The Marvels, you need to have watched Miss Marvel. Viewers hate pre-required viewing. You know what was probably the best Marvel show on Disney Plus? It wasn't any of the MCU shows. It was X-Men 97. Reason number 4, the MCU is struggling. It relied too much on Disney Plus. The last point is really simple.
That's interesting. It required way too much Disney Plus. Like, yeah, that is a legitimate reason, I think. If it comes down to it. If you have to watch everything on there, it's like required viewing, then it's like, oh my gosh. It just sounds like watching homework. And if you don't like it, then it's like, why did they do that for? And then, with more context, it's even worse. Then it feels like, wow, you wasted my time. And my money.
Recently, they've been relying too much on nostalgia. What's peculiar is that the
Yeah. That's all everybody does nowadays.
preying on people's nostalgia for stories that aren't even in the MCU. Spider-Man No Way Home relied on nostalgia for the Sony movies. Multiverse of Madness.
Well, again, if you apply on nostalgia, you can do that in a really good way. You can take advantage of it, like in No Way Home. When it comes to Multiverse of Madness, they show up and die. It's like, who cares?
Relied on some nostalgia for the X-Men movies that people didn't really like anyway. And
what? People love the X-Men movies. What are you on? What you talking about? Which ones? X-Men 1, 2, and 3? People love those movies. What are you talking about?
now Deadpool and Wolverine relied on Wolverine and nostalgia for Marvel characters that had their own random movies. They're running out of things to...
Random movies? You mean the Fox universe? Yeah. Those weren't random. Wait, just because they're not a part of a universe, they were random? Okay. That makes sense. Not really.
nostalgia bait over. When it comes to characters in the MCU, the only ones they can nostalgia bait over are Tony, Steve, and Natasha. And they're already bringing back Robert Downey Jr., so reason number 5 for why the MCU is struggling, relying too much on nostalgia. Now that we know the 5 main reasons...
Now we know, it's like, it's not writing. All these things are just like, the last 2 things are actually something I agree with, but not for the reason that he thinks. So it's kind of interesting that way.
Reasons why the MCU is failing. How can we fix this? Well, this is a bit tricky. So the first thing I would do is delay the Avengers movies. I don't care that Robert Downey Jr. is coming back. I don't care that the Russo brothers are directing it. The multiverse saga is not ready for an Avengers film. Those films were movies that were the culmination of storylines and characters we loved. This era of the MCU has neither, so we gotta delay the Avengers movies. The next...
I guess so. But like, it's... I hate to say it, but the Avengers brand has already been damaged by Thunderbolts. So, get ready for that. When you have a bomb that calls itself the new Avengers, it's like, ooh, oof. Well, yeah, they need to, so they're gonna say, if I were in the boardroom, I go, oh crap, we need a new Avengers right away. In order to cover up this You know, it's like fire with more fire. It's like in order to put out a fire, you make a bigger fire. Like,
Next thing I would do is develop a core group of Avengers. I was looking at the movies of these past 2 phases and I just realized something. If you took the main characters of these 13 films, do you know how many of them have interacted with each other in any way? 3 is the answer. Peter Parker, Doctor Strange, and Peter Quill. Black Widow is dead, so she doesn't count. I'm not counting quick fan service scenes like the time Captain Marvel said hi to Peter and Sam Wilson fought Peter for like 3 minutes. I'm not counting that either. I actually forgot to include Ant-Man and the Falcon because these 2 interacted 10 years ago in 2015 and
so they still interacted with each other. What? I don't know where you're going with this. Why do they need to interact with each other in order for them to do something? What if they don't have to have interacted with each other to go into an Avengers movie? Have you seen Avengers? They did it. They did that. So where are you going with this?
since then we've had 1 scene between them. My point is that none of these characters have any relationship with each other. If Avengers 5 was going to be a more foundational Avengers movie where these characters get to know each other, I could get behind that. But from the looks of it, these...
Well, they have to foundation a new one because the past ones are gone. So, yeah.
Next 2 Avengers films will be a 2-parter, resulting in the end of an era.
I love that guy. He turns around, he's like, oh, okay. It's Doomsday. All right.
That's a lot to cram in. So in order to fix the MCU, you need to develop these characters. Take Shang-Chi, Doctor Strange, Shuri, and Captain America and make them the focus of the MCU. This could be in solo movies or in team-up movies.
All right. I mean, I guess so. I don't know what I'm gonna say anymore because it's just like, because I understand what you're saying. It's like we focus on them before. They had individual movies which go into that movie, and then we had we have Infinity War that did the same thing, and it worked really well for not just fan service, but for some character interactions we've always kind of wanted. You know, it's like we kind of need that. So, I mean, we don't really need that. We don't need them to interact or be aware of each other.
They just need to develop these characters. I also want to develop the Thunderbolts and the Fantastic Four even more than what they plan on doing. These movies haven't even come out yet, so it may be too soon to say, but at worst, these movies look interesting. Make Mr. Fantastic the face of the Avengers and build around him too. Phase 6 should be 6 movies. The Fantastic Four movie, which is already coming out, 1 movie devoted to each of these Avengers I just spoke about, and then an Avengers movie.
Well, yeah, that's what they did before, but you said they needed to interact. So, I don't get what you're saying.
If you really want to include Spider-Man, then make Spider-Man 4 a part of this phase 2.
No, Sony, stay far away. Stay far away. Leave your cash cow out of it. Unless you want to make a deal.
Focus on these characters and don't give any other random ass character a movie. The next thing Marvel should do is a total rehaul of the Disney Plus shows. Honestly, I would probably scrap them all and just continue on with Daredevil. Disney Plus has been...
Well, Daredevil Born Again is gonna suck, dude. Not gonna lie.
such a failure that they all need to go. But if that's not an option, I would do a 2nd season of a few shows. Hawkeye with Kate Bishop, Miss Marvel, and Daredevil. Let Kate and Kamala develop the young Avengers on the small screen.
Oh yeah, I forgot that was gonna happen. And here's the thing. It's no one's gonna care about those. No, I should say no one cares. I should say it's so minuscule that I forgot that existed until you just brought it up. Like, I know I'm not the entire population, but who's the other person who probably remembers this?
And Daredevil can do all the badass shit. So, that's how I would revamp the Disney Plus shows. But before we wrap up, I'd like to thank the sponsor of today's video, Squarespace.
All right, I'm done. All right. Oh. Oop. We're going to go ahead and go to intermission. and I will end it myself. So I'm still working on the Buffy script. I hope I can do more with that stuff. Once more with feeling, and I need to get on that. And but I'm coming up with many projects and many things are happening. So it's like it's a bit slow going, but trust me, I can do it. Check out my last one on the Buffy video of the body. I think it's solid. Of course, I made it. Of course, it is. And yeah, that's it. Go check out Frago's channel. He has his downright reaction to Superman, and I hear it's not as good as people think it is, and so and I probably agree. I'm not gonna go see it because the reviews are just mixed. So I'm gonna wait for a rental of some kind. All right.